Hey man, today you'll be reacting to another Mandalore gaming video. This one was recommended and this one is titled Genesis Rising, the Universal Crusade review. And I've never heard of this game before. So, judging by this, 0-second pause, it looks like a game that came out in early 2000s, maybe? I could be wrong, but I have no idea what it is, what it's going to be, but I guess we're gonna find out, or I'm gonna find out.
Incorrect. Melagio was first. And Melagio was meant to be alone among all things. But Melagio was betrayed.
Betrayed? Betrayed by whom?
God.
Okay. Oh, it's an RTS? I think? I see spaceships fighting on like a plane, so I'm thinking RTS.
Since the Callisto Protocol brought it up while playing, I thought of a future where humanity becomes genetic freaks. And it reminded me of a game very on track with that, Genesis Rising. And after a brief search, not only does it have no videos on YouTube covering it, but the IMDb page is also a complete shell. It did eventually come out on Steam, but was so broken that it didn't even launch for most people.
Maybe that's why I haven't heard about it. Mostly negative, came out in 2000. Yeah, I was right. Although I just like, I kind of was right. In 2007. Yeah, at that point, what was I playing? Because like my sense of time around that time is not the greatest. Because I do remember, like, I think Guild Wars 2 came out in 2012, so that wasn't it. I think Maple Story was one of the games I played around that time. Like 2007 is just a long time, so I don't really remember. I know I played a lot of original Dota on the Warcraft 3, the Frozen Throne. That could have been around that time. Counter-Strike Source, maybe? Yeah. I know like Half-Life 2 came out around that time too, because I know I wrote an article about it, but yeah, sure.
For those who could run it, they'd be treated to everything being invisible or constant crashing. This was due to several folder directories just being missing.
It's a feature. It's an ARG. They want you to fix it.
They did make it playable eventually, but on my end, all the ships were 100% black.
Like, I know I say this in almost all my videos. I do pause a lot, but for a game that came out in 2007,
they did make it.
This looks fine. It looks, judging from the ship and the surroundings, not like the UI. Like, the graphics look fine. They actually look pretty good. Dare I say, even better than some of the games that come out today. and I'm not even talking about games that are like bad, like PS1 graphic made games on purpose. I'm not talking about like they try to make it look good, but some games nowadays aren't.
Playable eventually, but on my end, all the ships were 100% black. It looks to be some kind of shader issue, since setting that to medium fixed the ships right up. It still crashed a lot, and we'll go over all the joys of that later. But the point is, even when you could get the game in a box, it was scuffed. Now, there are tons of RTS games out there that have a similar story, but Genesis Rising is such a bizarre blend of madness that it's worth talking about. To sum the game up in a sentence, your spaceships are alive and filled with blood.
Ship destroyed.
Right.
But that's only the epidermis of the setting. From the credits, I learned that the game is based off an obscure, single-issue Serbian comic called Cruciform. It takes place in the far future where humanity are the galactic villains. It's only a single issue with some interesting art, but the game itself gives all the context you need. After nearly being wiped out by several...
Like, imagine reading this one shot and just get so moved that you want to create an RTS out of it. That's gotta be a powerful like one shot, right?
Several alien threats, humanity bounced back and are now the rulers of the universe.
Okay.
Not the galaxy.
The universe.
All other aliens are either wiped out, enslaved, or thralls of humanity. Those survivors must also worship the human god.
Right.
We're a brutal regime in the future, led by the Chair of Three, which represents the most important human factions: the military, the judicature, and the state church.
Right.
What's interesting is that the human god was once a man, who united everyone against the alien threat. He was part man and part god, and it's unclear where he came from or how exactly he did what he did. He's known as the Emperor, Savior of Mankind. Now, you may have heard a similar story before, but this one is delivered like an Invader Zim bit.
The aliens, realizing the power of this demagogue and fearing for their very existence, captured, tortured, and killed him.
It looks more like he got
I mean, maybe I would agree, but I haven't seen Invader Zim,
jumped after class.
so I can't say how accurate it is.
His message was even more powerful. His death only served to strengthen humanity's resolve.
Right.
Church also arose to guide humanity.
Then there was a new church. Again,
Sure.
not much elaborated on. It feels like it doesn't matter much because the intro rocks. The voice acting throws more ham at you than an exploding butcher's shop, and it's being done over what sounds like the Villeneuve Dune theme.
Humankind's foray into space began uneventfully.
I mean, I feel like it's kind of easy to recreate that OST if you're going for that feel.
For 1,000 years, our influence spread across the length and breadth of known space.
Like I'm reminded of that one TikTok that I saw. I think it was like in a try not to laugh challenge, I think, or it was like a meme video, but it was like the stereotypical Arabian, like a stereotypical American movie intro that's set in an Arabian desert, and it's just one layer over another layer over another. And then I guess it was accurate to a point.
So what looked like the Strogg almost wiped us out until the Savior saved us.
Right.
But humanity's biggest
we're
achievement was
Quake
the
guy.
Organids. Living spaceships that would grow, mutate, and then adapt to their environment. No other aliens had mastered
just
these, so within a
seems-
few thousand years, we just conquered most of existence. How could you stop it? I mean, these are some virile-looking ships. It sets the stage for a bizarre and dark setting, and that's when the first
Right.
whiplash hits.
Father, don't be silly. The people celebrate the birth of the Universal Heart. I just happen to be born the same day.
Yes, I suppose you are right. But it is fun to pretend.
You play as a 5-year-old child whose haircut
Wait,
hates
what?
him.
I'm just happy to be here with you, Father. I enjoy being on the bridge.
The story
He's 5? Or they're 5? What? I mean, maybe. I mean, I guess this takes place in the future where we conquered most of, if not all of the universe, so sure.
will skip ahead a few decades, just so that the kid, Icona, can get his own spaceship. After all, it'll grow up with him.
Father,
Right.
I don't know what to say. But isn't it illegal to own a
Oh,
ship
okay.
at my age?
Because
I don't know what to
Icona can get his own spaceship.
so and even then, like a few decades.
After all, it'll grow
So
up
when
with
does
him.
this take
Father,
place?
I don't know what to say. But isn't it illegal to own a
Surely
ship
not
at my
5,
age?
right?
It's such a light-hearted opening which feels unbelievably strange. Come on, son, let's go harvest the life essence of the fallen.
Target spot.
Right.
Wait for me. This is fun.
When you're pitching this setting,
What?
does anyone want to see this? I'll try shunting, that's a good trick. Icona and his Omni Cruiser grow up off-screen,
Huh.
so we don't get the more sentimental bits of H.R. Giger's Aragon.
Oh.
Icona is a commander now, and his hair has dyed out of embarrassment. He's morphed into being The Rock. And the Chair of Three wants him to hunt down the Universal Heart, which is
I mean, if there's ever a need to make a live adaptation movie out of this, oh, you know who to play for the main actor.
bother
right?
witnessing looking for. The heart is, supposedly, where all life comes from. And there's only a single galaxy
Okay.
left that people haven't checked.
Captain, we've reached the last unexplored galaxy in the universe.
On its
Right.
own, that's an insane thing to hear. But this galaxy has aliens that possess organids. And that's the gist of the campaign. Wipe out your enemies and find the heart. For now,
Right.
let's talk about the graphics. To be fair, the shaders aren't at the full potential they could be since it's outright broken. Though
Okay.
even with that, for a 2007 strategy
That's what I
game,
said.
it looks pretty good.
That's what I
A lot of
said.
it comes from how smartly they use lights and color. Like, if you zoom in all the way on a spaceship, the texture won't be that sharp, but how parts glow and how color is arranged across it is really interesting. When you're not zoomed
Yeah.
into it and playing the game normally, the ships do have a living quality to them. You see how different flesh and metal parts reflect in the sun, lights flicker on and off. Their general design can resemble ancient sea life or twisted forms of the human body.
Ooh.
The ships being organic isn't some kind of lore afterthought, it is front and center and gross.
Yeah.
The space station isn't just a safe harbor, it's a pulsating flesh reservoir. You don't have to harvest the field, you harvest the station. You're
Yeah, it's like this for better or for worse, like whatever the story is, everything I've seen so far in terms of the ships and I guess what you're trying to get has been unique in the I guess spacefaring genre, because most if not all of the games that I've seen that takes place with multiple ship battles and whatnot are just traditional looking ships, right? So this one, like having that uniqueness, having that unique look should have, I guess, garnered more eyes than it should have. I don't know.
collectors are basically horrible, gigantic mosquitoes, and you could physically see them getting engorged with blood when they collect it.
Ugh.
While they're the best at powering your economy, since blood is also currency in this setting, most of your ships are able to drain blood, including in the middle of
Right.
battle. By harvesting enemy corpse ships, your own vessels can slowly heal themselves. So when
That's
your own
cool.
ships are getting wounded, they can plug an IV into their enemy and start vampiring their health away.
But can you vampire off your own ships? Say like all of these except are injured except for this one. Can all of these like siphon off this one, sacrifice one to heal the rest or something like that?
Along with collecting any mutations they find to add into your own gene bank. There is some thinking to this, since some more destructive weapons have a higher chance of outright obliterating enemy ships, but playing it riskier means having a higher
Wow.
chance of getting a ship carcass, which is more literal blood, sweat, and tears for your war machine. Most
Okay.
weapons are genes that you use to mutate your craft. These are mutations that you physically see on the models, too. You can
That
watch new
looks so
weapons grow
good.
out, or parts of the ship extend, or strange appendages coming out of it. I know I said the mothership in
Disturbing,
Homeworld
but-
basically gave birth to new craft. That is actually what's happening here. Blowing up a station is killing a gigantic being, ripping the shell away and sending your roaches in to clean up the remains. It's like watching a
Right.
fight in Star Wars and a whale fall at the same time. They even grounded a bit by having you encounter forces that use traditional spaceships. And when they go
Oh,
up against
they
the
have
primordial
those.
sea monsters, you're clearly the villain there. Visually, just playing the game is so excellent at making humanity an eldritch nightmare. You either
Yeah.
die, or fall in line with the universal rulers. Though there are alien forces that are terrors in their own right, with their own cool, unique designs.
Ooh.
Still, I think bioships are
It's very reminiscent of Alien, I
forces that are
think.
terrors in their own right, with their own cool,
At least upon first glance. I could be totally wrong, but it does remind me of Aliens.
unique designs.
Like you got the head and then like the long back part of the head right there.
Still, I think bioships are very underused in sci-fi, and Genesis
Oh, yeah.
Rising has some amazing designs, and others are deli-wrapped Cylon Raiders.
So I think the closest thing I can think of in terms of bioships are, I think the Zerg air units from StarCraft. I think that's like the closest thing I can think of where you can pilot these bioships. So
This also makes the
If
rest
you
of
can
the
call them
tone
bioships.
way more psychotic.
Captain Icona. I think you should avoid talking to the Vicar until
Until what?
you're a little more sober, sir.
Enough, soldier. Connect me to Juno.
Look, great value Captain Diomedes getting obliterated is already odd, but they went the extra mile to show he's drinking out of some kind of living conch shell. That is a
Right.
creature that lives solely to sweat Everclear. This is the future Serbia wants. It probably saves money. This extends to the holograms, which are actually shape formers. So instead of culling someone, you temporarily generate a homunculus clone of them. Or
Huh.
something. And don't you worry, this gets one hell of a payoff later. Getting back to it, the environment looks good too, with lots of bold, striking colors. I would have liked
Yeah.
some pitch black space to balance things out, but I guess that's how it goes in the last unexplored galaxy. When the background is more dim, I really appreciate the weapon and ship lights and how they contrast against the background. Even the box art leaned into that, which is how I noticed it at Best Buy back in the day. It promised a creepy bloodship future, and on that, it delivered in spades.
If this was a game that came out nowadays, there probably would be some sort of battle pass to get some more, to unlock some more lights, so you can install them on your ship, so you can make a ship full of lights that it's just nothing but lights or something. I don't know, but yeah, the games back in the day, or not back in the day, but in this era, just, I don't know, it's so weird that, from my experience, that the graphics like are either really, really, really bad compared to today's standards, or they're still good, but it's like there's nothing in between. So
the idea of Genesis Rising and how
at least from
creative
my
it is visually
experience,
is without a doubt the strongest part of the game. The most barren are the endgame shapeformer cutscenes, but in comparison to their sound design, these look like masterpieces. I'll show you why.
This mission, the search for the heart, it is a terrible mistake.
It is no mistake, Bishop.
I see.
There are no ambient effects, no music, it's just you and the voices.
Yeah.
Right now it's just me and the voices. Alone. Diplomacy has never felt more confrontational and awkward.
Why did you attack us?
You will show respect. It is you who invaded our space.
It's not a bug, it's just the game. The ambient sound design is also more empty, but
Is that
not
the
going
Death
for
Star?
realism, they just don't have that many effects. If it's not music, you hear weapon fire.
I mean, since this came out in 2007, there is an argument of wanting to save space, because, I mean, this is just like a tinfoil hat theory, right? Because digital distribution wasn't as big or as popular as it is nowadays, so companies were still trying to sell things on physical media like DVD-ROMs and all that stuff. So maybe, I mean, it is also an artistic choice to not include music at some points, but maybe it saves that much more megabytes, gigabytes, who knows, to put in more detailed models, or I don't know, but I mean, I would like to see like the planning for this.
Crushing opposition.
Like the choice of the no music.
It's generic and definitely undercooked for this time period. There were strategy games 10 years before this with way better soundscapes and much smaller budgets. It can also drive me nuts since some fights sound like a child fiddling with a lightsaber.
Well, I stand corrected then.
Not to mention, for how over-the-top the setting is, the actual in-game voice acting can be weirdly casual. Especially after the intro, they rarely gel with the world they're inhabiting. I thought they set a clear tone.
Okay.
Time to die.
Imagine just fighting the opposing species, and that is how you're talking against them, just casually.
Suck them dry.
I don't know. I feel a disconnect. There are some characters that are better, but it's still very budget.
Genocide is on the way.
That's
so maybe budget is the reason why they don't have that much music. But there's many reasons why.
more like it. The soundtrack is the biggest audio standout. A decent amount of it is your standard RTS battle orchestra kind of sound, but like the wailing in the intro, sometimes it taps into something way more unique. As an example, here's the more traditional space game music.
Oh, there's a lightsaber. Wait, no, that's... Is he trolling me? I feel like that's like an OST from a Star Wars thing. very, very vaguely. Maybe not like a 1-for-1, but it reminds me of Star Wars.
Still great production value, especially considering the rest of the soundscape. Then you have a track like Cruciform that steps it up.
Oh, that's a nice track. From like the few seconds I'm hearing it. Okay. I don't know, like because I feel like with that type of soundtrack, having this type of gameplay as a supplement to that soundtrack does not fit. But then again, I don't know the context of this gameplay. It could very well fit, but as it is now, without the context, I don't think it fits. Like the soundtrack in this one sounds so serious and so somber, but this just looks like normal gameplay. Gregorian chanting and mantras with resonant bass. That sounds so good. OST love theme. There's love themes in this game too?
There's a little more emotion showing with those.
Yeah.
The issue comes from how often you hear the generic battle theme over and over again. The composer has so much range that's just underused. There's one part where you're investigating a new alien race based around crystals and ice, and the soundtrack is just people and children whispering. It's like they're trying to make a tulpa or something. So the game can have its moments of standout music, but it's mostly... It is a letdown how they used what they had a lot of the time, but there are some gems in there. I've seen some around in a fairly popular Homeworld 2 mod, but never in a Warhammer lore video or something like that. Maybe that'll change now. Okay, let's talk about the game itself. It's Homeworld on bath salts. I guess that's not too fair since mechanically they are very different, but there's a lot of influence here. Beyond similarities in the visuals and structure and even some missions near 1-to-1, you also command a persistent fleet throughout the campaign. This wasn't uncommon at the time since almost every space RTS game definitely had some Homeworld influence.
Yeah.
The difference is the story and writing in Homeworld makes something like a persistent fleet feel like it matters, whereas here in other games you go, oh, that's convenient. Besides, Genesis Rising takes place in a 2D plane, since very few games still wanted to tackle the 3D space element. There's no kind of veterancy, but the persistent fleet is neat for capturing enemy ships. So if you grab a lab ship, you can build everything that your adversary has. This still sounds better than it is, because there are barely any ships per faction. Besides your Omni Cruiser, you can only build 3 kinds of combat ships, and not that many. Most ships don't innately have abilities either, they're just platforms for more mutations. So bigger ships have more health and more options determined by you. With a persistent fleet,
So, what I'm hearing is that technically, because you have all these different types of like mutations, technically you can have, in theory, tens, hundreds, maybe even, all different types of ships. But in actuality, there's only 3 different types. They just look different.
So bigger ships have more health and more options determined by you. With a persistent fleet, you might think how genes and mutations work in the campaign could be harsh, but it's not at all. When you find a new gene by shunting it out of a corpse or trading for it, that gene becomes permanently unlocked in your bank. It's more like you're unlocking the template for it instead of a singular item. But you can also find and trade for special items which are exactly that. Single-use modifications that you lose if the ship is destroyed, something like a stun ability or nuclear missiles. As the campaign goes on, you can eventually find genes for the special items as well, so they're more just a temporary help. You'll also be finding upgraded genes which cost more blood to equip on your ship, but are better at what they do. Simple enough so far, but what stops you from making a min-maxing dick ship? For one, mutating a ship actually increases its max health, but it's not filled in immediately. After upgrading, the ship will need to fill up or be healed another way. This makes shifting in battle a bad idea. On top of that, any active abilities like a purge or a shield or some kind of special missile will generate heat. When it overheats, it can't use abilities again until it cools down. Which means you can put a death missile on something like a station, but it'll take forever to recharge. Now on paper, and at a few points in the game, the system is really engaging. You do some easy bake gene splicing before a fight, determine what abilities work best on what ships, and with so few ships but all these mutations, it looks like there should be a lot of tactical depth to the game. Except there really isn't, and beyond that, the interface makes everything a pain in the ass to play.
Yeah, the interface, at least the bottom half, when it's not covered by subtitles, it reminds me of Warcraft. Like Warcraft and StarCraft, minus like the bottom bar here. Like the map, the grid-based movement of actions, all that stuff. Or maybe that was the norm back then, I don't know.
The balance side, when you discover the freeze gene, which immobilizes your enemy for ages, including stations, most other active abilities go in the trash. While they look neat visually, besides the soft or hard damage aspect, I didn't feel much of a difference between most of the weapons. Short range especially could feel completely interchangeable. The late game does try to open up more tactical and utility items, especially in one mission that makes the most out of the system, having you resurrect enemy ships and moving abilities around. But at that point, your fleet is enough of a murder machine that it doesn't matter that much. Hearing that, you might think the game is overly easy, but no, this can be a tough one for all the wrong reasons.
So like if you lose your, I guess if you lose your fleet early on, then you're you can't really continue. I mean, you can still continue, but it's going to be a very uphill battle type of deal.
You can't save any kind of gene loadout or build to quickly drag onto a ship, so every time you build a new one, you have to go into the menu and manually mutate it by click dragging. Different genes also don't have different hotkeys, it's just the same use active ability hotkey. To manually use one means clicking on the icon above the craft or on the side panel. And you never get used to where things are because where the ships and mutations...
Why? This, like the front half looks like a praying mantis. This half just looks like a human spreading its legs and just farting. I don't know why that just caught me off guard.
The icon above the craft or on the side panel. And you never get used to where things are because where the ships and mutations are moving around all the time. It's also hard to tell from the footage, but the mouse has a ton of weird drag to it. The interface is clearly meant for a 4:3 ratio since it's stretched out, but the game itself does support widescreen. All the cutscenes are in widescreen. I'm not sure what's going on there, but the mouse lacks precision and feels clunky to use. There's other strangeness, like hold space to toggle mutations showing up in the side panels, but then they'll disappear. It turns out the ships are camera shy, and if they're on screen, their ability will disappear from the panel, so you can click on the ship itself, if it's actually in your field of view. There was a toggle to make them show up permanently, but that would either crash the game or make it more prone to crashing. I have no clue why that's not on by default. The interface being so clunky makes you prey to your biggest enemy, the missiles. One of the missile genes has slight lock-on, extreme range, and gets more powerful the longer it's in the air. When you launch them at enemies, they rarely hit, but when they launch them at you just die.
Ship destroyed.
I cannot count how many times I got own-zoned by missiles. You're notified for long-range weapons that don't matter constantly. Like, look out, a breeder's on the way.
So it's kind of like, I want to say like XCOM's percentage chances, where it's like even if it's 99% chance on your side, it's basically like a 50% chance you're still gonna miss or something like that. But when the enemy has, let's say, 60% chance to hit, it always hits.
That's nothing. So you might miss someone somewhere has launched a missile, and then a ship gets insta-killed at full health.
Right.
These aren't super weapons either, it's just a long-range mutation you could slap on any ship. The notification could mean a light tickle or you are now instant bone jelly. You might get the notification during a fight thinking it's a short-range missile from there, but really it's from across the map and you won't be seeing it for a minute or so.
Jeez.
This is also a good time to remind you there's no in-mission saving.
Oh no.
You can be on a map for a half hour or more, let an important ship out of your sight for a little too long, and it gets zapped by a missile. I was living in terror of these fucking things, and even with my paranoia, I was still barely dodging them in time. Usually the missile would sail past the targeted ship and obliterate something else. And that's fine until the game crashes. I only know some things likely to cause a crash, and one is a large ship dying. There were simple missions I spent hours on purely from crashing or from getting fox-2'd by a space whale. It was getting to a point I don't often for videos where I considered scrapping it purely from how often the thing was crashing or I was getting whistled. I was starting to remember why I hadn't finished this game all those years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I've scrapped some recordings on my gaming channel because of that. Just less of the game crashing, but more of my obs not playing well with the game for some reason on my PC, which is weird. I think I mentioned this, but one good example is Cyberpunk. Like, runs amazingly on my computer. I can run it on high, I think ultra as well, without any issues. When I turn on ops, try to record it, I can't even run it on low without the game stuttering. And it produces some weird bugs too. Like, I think early on when I recorded, it captured both my viewpoint, which it should, as well as the viewpoint from a mirror. So that was weird. I don't know why OBS would do that, but that was weird.
Should I push through for the story? It's not like a good story. And then I saw The Rock make first contact with an alien race.
Okay. Beepity boopity.
Nothing's happening.
What? What?
Whoa!
That can't be real, right? What?
Interesting proportions.
No, you can't do this to me. You do that, and it's like, now I have to see what happens. I'm not sure how to
Imagine if, like, the first time you meet Cortana in Halo, like, they have some sort of, I don't know, mechanical glitch with the hologram, and that happens for the first time. That
about the story. A lot of it was surprise filler. And the other parts were written like something from the Pepsi-verse. It has some interesting ideas, but the kind of ideas you'd find scrawled in feces at a bus stop. I will be getting into spoilers since I really can't tell where a stopping point is in the story. There are also choices to make and several different endings depending on what you do in the final mission. When you receive your mission to hunt for the heart, you meet Vicar Juno, the representative of the bishop. He introduces your choice mechanic, blue-balled or red-balled. Obviously, the intention is that blue is the friendly, diplomatic option, and red is an aggressive response. So I try both on Infinity, the head of the judges. Most responses boil down to yes or sarcastic yes, and many Western RPGs would perfect this formula in the following years. No matter what, Infinity is very interested in you.
We are very much alike, you and I. When you return, perhaps we could spend some quality time together.
Ooh.
Perhaps.
But look what happens when I choose Paragon Rock here.
You deny that you are Defiance? State your designation.
I have enough trouble, I'll try to be nice to the Strogg, and...
The Strogg?
No. Why would you think we are Defiance?
Red is worse than that?
Designation? Human. We're called humans.
No, they're just assigned to the wrong button sometimes.
Huh.
So the aliens with the organic ships are the Defiance. They're a confederation of races against the human empire, including some that humanity thought they wiped out ages ago. This is a great idea for when you're playing as the heel. You can learn about the races humans have stomped down, and then decide how to deal with them. You'll have some options of where you can travel to first, or even go off track or backtrack. Typically, this only means getting your standard skirmish map with maybe an opportunity for new genes.
Wait, so if they say they conquered the whole universe, why are we only I guess maybe our ship can only travel so far within in the time frame that it only limits to here, maybe?
Backtrack.
I don't
Typically,
know.
this only means getting your standard skirmish map with maybe an opportunity for new genes. But I appreciate the attempt at putting the journey more in your hands, even if it's pretty barren. Anyhow, the Defiants are also nasty in their own way. They've been oppressing the local Strogg for years, who are all too happy to join you on your genocide. There may not be many Defiants, but they are a major threat. They've invented parasitic weaponry, which can consume a living ship from the inside out. And if they get around, humanity's greatest weapons will be useless.
They got ship STDs.
It establishes a mystery of how they were formed and discovered the secrets of organids. Does it have something to do with the heart? Well, that whole thread dies quietly, because while searching for the heart, the Defiants suddenly erupt into civil war.
Yeah, every time that animation, it just reminds me of just legs splitting open. Or spreading open, whatever choice you prefer.
That whole thread dies quietly, because while
Like,
searching for the heart,
come
the
on.
Defiants suddenly erupt into civil war. During your journey, you've seen mysterious pillars that have traces of blood air, which is apparently a sign of the
Okay.
universal heart. These pillars are the Lapis altars. Half of the Defiants think that destroying them will anger the Lapis gods and cause the apocalypse. The other half believes that not destroying them will cause the apocalypse. Tough break.
Fool! If these altars are not destroyed, the Lapis will come!
From what I've been told, they'll come if you do destroy the altars.
Preposterous! The locals think the Lapis are gods, but the truth is that they are a primitive species. Without
Okay.
these altars, they aren't even capable of space travel.
You learn more about the Lapis from the Cold Whites. They're a mysterious, all-female tit race that
I was gonna say, is that like a euphemism for something?
you saw in the big cutscene.
You could put an eye out with those things, lady.
They're called the Cold Whites because they live in the cold part of space. And are white.
Right.
They do point you in the direction of the Lapis themselves, who are rock people. They build their ships from asteroids and are essentially thinking rocks. They don't communicate with outsiders, only attack them, which is why some aliens theorize that they're not sentient at all, and that just comes from the pillars.
But they aren't played by the Rock.
They do follow blood air, which again means heart. At this point, Infinity and Vicar Juno arrive, and the Rock explains what's happening. He still wants to go track down the heart, but the Chair of Three demands the Defiants die, and they're defeated the next mission. This leads
Okay.
to a 2-year time skip, which is where you spend your time getting piss drunk with the piss juice. Mankind rules the sector, and instead of hunting down the heart, you do errands like taking the aliens to mass. You get
Right.
missions, shaking extraterrestrials in their bed going, "Wake up! It's time for church." You especially need some Hail Marys. You might need some too if you enter the romance with Infinity.
So there is
this
romancing.
Is a fairy tale romance.
Okay.
Now, tell her what every woman wants to hear in this moment.
Don't worry, Infinity. I won't tell anyone.
Captain!
At least knock before you enter. Oh, it's so like I have a feeling that they don't mean to have comedic moments in this game, or at least not as much as it's shown, but that is interestingly funny.
Is there something wrong with the shape form?
No, I don't think so. I was just making contact with this woman.
I see.
Oh, so it was meant to be funny.
I was just curious as to why we haven't left yet.
Legal issues. I have to take care of some details before we can leave.
Oh.
Red tape, you know?
I wish they'd just let us do our job.
It's like they can't decide between Warhammer 40k or Farscape. They can't decide Is he going for the fish? It's so messy.
Oh,
Only the
no.
more fanatical characters actually feel authentic for the setting it's showing.
Oh, I guess it's in the future, so I guess you do you, right?
They package the game with epic choirs and monstrous spaceships. Then characters get to talking, and it's half B-movie and half YouTube poop. Except not nearly that fun, and how some things are resolved is so unsatisfying.
That just sums up Squid Game Season 3 to a T. Like, I don't know if anyone's finished watching it or started seeing or whatever, but what he described just described Squid Game Season 3. Like, there's some great moments, there are some epic moments, and then when some of the characters like the VIP start talking, it lowers the quality. And then there's some scenes that are also questionable.
To poop. Except not nearly that fun, and how some things are resolved is so
Yeah,
unsatisfying.
that too. Like some of the storyline beats that end are very unsatisfying.
To wrap up the mess arc, the Lapis attack by throwing rocks, as they were lured there by the traitorous Cold Whites, which means killing the Cold White leader, and killing the
Okay.
Defiants again. Juno is so pleased by this that he sends you out to look for the heart again.
Right.
The enigmatic cerebral race might know more.
Look, it's another Juno creature.
I know they seem trustworthy, but they give you the runaround
Do
until
they?
you just murder them for the information. which is to put the pillars in the right order, but your father appears to tell you that he found the heart and it imprisoned him, and it'll surely imprison you too, but the magic rocks already opened the portal, which will surely lead to the heart. Right?
Father? Am I dead?
What?
No, son. I brought you here to make certain that you don't die.
You mean I'm in the past?
Yes.
But
what?
Why?
It is easy for them to kill you now, in the past.
Who's them?
You will see.
I have been skimming over details, but I promise you, we did not need time travel. You play back in the baby Omni Cruiser with your dad in the past fighting ships from the future. You win, travel back to the future, reunite with your fleet, and then defeat the giant 3 portal guardian heads. Which,
but then like, wouldn't that cause, like, I guess it really depends on how you defeat the ships, but wouldn't that cause some sort of paradox where, since you can, I guess, technically salvage from ships, you would get the stuff from the future at that point in time, which would alter the timeline of, I guess, ship building progression and all that stuff, or something like that. Like, I feel like there's some sort of paradox that they're glossing over just like that.
Puts you back to where things were, except you then get the only diplomacy scene with music.
Is this the future?
Actually, no. It is the past. The far distant past.
I don't understand.
What's with
the
music's weird in the scene?
I have spent over 50 years in a past so distant that humans don't yet exist.
Right.
Or at least they didn't. Until I came here and established a new human empire of my own.
So Juno went back in time to create an even more overpowered human empire, which is the Inquisition, and he can do this because the heart controls time, and he wanted Icona dead because he thought he was a liability for no reason.
I forgive you. All of that is in the past.
Hey.
Or the future, actually. Time travel. It can be a bit confusing.
Right.
I wasn't oversimplifying there. The plan really is just to make the human empire even more awesomer. It's not till mid-conversation that the band wakes up.
What about the Chair of 3? I can't imagine they're too happy about your little foray into the past.
They don't know about this.
Sounds like Skyrim. Or it sounds like something that will be in Skyrim.
And they will never find out, because they will never exist. No more meddling from fools who do not deserve the positions conveyed upon them. Come, Icona. You can be a part of this. Join me as my admiral. Lead my armies to glory. Glory for all mankind.
Right.
You cannot join him here. It's a ridiculous plan, but why not? He even offers to help get Dad back if you join him, and Icona still says no. This is the apex of how disjointed everything has been.
Yeah, imagine if you were able to do that in the game and the story just shifts dramatically because of it. That'd be so interesting. But I mean, granted, 2007. I don't know if that would have been feasible. I don't know. Maybe
We've been playing an evil genocidal empire, wiping out enemies left and right all game, but they still want to play you off as being Space McGunn's fun adventure man, who is at best indifferent to aliens as long as they align with his goals. He doesn't want to break the timeline and get everything he's wanted and more because Juno's the bad guy. If your character was played as a villain with ambitions for power, going up against Juno because he'll be the supreme ruler would make sense here. Everything else in the setting and the game screams that you should be evil, yet they didn't commit to it. Imagine how fun an evil space captain could be. Throwing aliens at the airlock, announcing mandatory blood taxes, and dropping awful one-liners. I want mustache-twirling villain, or at least dedicated space marine. This is just empty. You do escape Juno and make contact with the Lapis, who point you towards their leader.
Why are you attacking me?
You destroyed the Lapis altars.
Oh god.
Fair enough.
Destroyed them? No, that hasn't happened yet. That happens in the future.
It is all the same.
Past that is the boss battle with the giant rock ship that has your dad. And you meet the Lapis leader, Melagio.
Epic choir.
Do you see him now?
I don't see anything but a planet. Is the planet his vessel?
He is the first brother. He is Melagio.
He requires no vessel.
Who said
Right.
that? Melagio reveals many secrets of the universe. The most alarming one being that he is beefing on a personal level with God. Melagio was supposed to be the only life form in the universe, but then God made more life to piss him off. He and God are no longer on speaking terms, and it's not clear what caused the fight. But as revenge against all life, Melagio created the Lapis. They obliterate everything in sight because this is the Rock's big revenge against God.
Against all life?
Wait, so it's just the plot of Animorphs, just in a more sci-fi setting?
Then how come the Lapis are only found in this part of the universe?
In the beginning, this was all of the universe.
Oh.
But God betrayed Melagio yet again and expanded the universe.
All of existence was made purely to spite this dude.
Wow.
Nothing in the Old Testament comes within leagues of being this petty. Apparently, Juno has planted some kind of organid device in the heart of the universe. If you destroy it, Melagio will protect the heart and contain the Lapis for all of eternity. Then Dad calls to say no, destroy Melagio's control rock, no one should control the heart of the universe. And Juno is on line too, telling you to mutate his device so that you can rule the galaxy forever. Now you show down with your greatest rival, the other two endings.
What?
I was about to say the same thing. Then you must know what I'm thinking. You think we got too close to the heart, and Juno used that to his advantage.
They really put a Naruto here with him talking to his own clones.
I'm glad we understand each other. We should use this phenomenon to our advantage. To finish what we started? Exactly. I know exactly what we should do. Me too. So do I.
It all led to this, all the crashing, all the missile murders. A crazy man arguing over what God rock to kick.
Talk about your split decisions. You know, I've been around you guys for about a minute now.
Why did he sound a little bit like... I kind of want to say Norm Macdonald. Just imagine like a character in the live action looking like The Rock, all jacked, and then the voice is just Norm Macdonald.
And I already don't like you. Either of you. The feeling's mutual. I think I know how to handle this.
Reported by the numbers.
I'm sorry, I just needed a little break.
Three of me,
I was
and I
like,
still
what?
can't make a decision. I'm pretty hard to convince when I think I'm right.
Okay.
Me too. Maybe we should go through the portal again. See which one of us makes it through.
Jesus Christ. They fight. They all fight. And wouldn't you know it, it's one of the hardest missions because they mirror your ships, your genes, everything you have. They also appear to be teamed up against you because I never saw them fight each other.
Interesting.
So the trick here is to completely scrap your own fleet and sell off everything. In a move of ultimate catharsis, you can give them the one-shot missile, even though it's technically still you being one-shot. Sayonara to two rocks in a hard place.
Right.
Though to give the game credit, every ending does have a fully animated cutscene.
Okay.
If you take Melagio's deal, the Chair of Three is irritated, but life goes on. They'll take another crack at Ultimate Ascension or whatever the plan was at another point in the future. Melagio keeps his word, and Dad is replaced in eternal prison with Juno.
Rob me of my place in eternity. I must take my place next to God. No!
The way they scream out their last thing is very comical.
If you do what Dad asked and wipe out the stone, Icona considers it as being returning control to God. Strangely, it's this ending where we see some lust for power brewing in him.
The heart was not ours to take. Not yet. We may rule the material side of the universe, but we have much to learn about the spiritual beings that we aspire to be.
Juno is still alive.
I wonder where he's looking.
But younger again for some reason. A lot of his Inquisition soldiers survived somehow and will be secretly breeding a new army. With all the time travel shenanigans, I have no idea how this works. These endings are each about 2 minutes long. Naturally, the one where you side with Juno to make humanity the ultimate power in the universe is the shortest one and considered the bad ending.
Welcome to the new eternity, my son. I hope it was worth it.
I mean, that doesn't really scream bad ending. in a way, right?
I don't understand. This game frustrates me to no end. Even if it was completely stable and not full of janky bugs, it's still not a game I'd recommend unless you desperately wanted to see these ships for yourself. It's clearly lifting a lot from Warhammer, but when it goes out on its own direction, it can get really fascinating at times. It was brought up abruptly, but God feuding with someone causing the universe is an out there idea that you could expand on more. Hell, even scaled down, evil human empire with organic ships is an idea that rules. But with how the mutation system works and how clunky and unbalanced it is, it's no wonder that the game didn't take off, since skirmish mode isn't worth going to and you're not getting on multiplayer. The thing the game didn't take off, since skirmish mode isn't worth going to and you're not getting on.
Powered by GameSpy, that takes me back. Oh, that like back in the day, if it wasn't like if it wasn't an MMO, but if it was like a single player with some multiplayer aspect, it was a good chance it was powered by GameSpy. That was a good chance, because I think even like the multiplayer version of Half-Life was powered by GameSpy before Steam was a thing. I think, I mean, I don't remember much. Maybe I'm thinking of Counter-Strike or something, but yeah, that was powered by GameSpy. Wow, that takes me back.
Multiplayer. The thing is, when I play these janky Eastern European games that are largely forgotten, even when the execution sucks, there are always cool ideas present. It's buggy and clunky and the tone isn't a Vitamix, but even after all these years, the image of a spaceship exploding into blood never left me. They made a future where mankind is lost, blood is fuel, and hell was made to aggravate a space rock. The Organids are still the height of bioships for me. The only setting I can think of that's similar is the Leviathan trilogy of books. It's an alternate World War I where the Central Powers use mechs, and the Allies made war machines by playing God with DNA. Sadly, they're more YA books, but the Keith Thompson art books are worth picking up, and that about covers it for Genesis Rising. It's one of those games where someday someone will do something incredible with the idea. Even with all its migraine features, I can't deny there is cool stuff here. I tried my best to get into it, but in the end, I couldn't smell what the rock was cooking.
The system is freezing. Let's find what we need and get out as soon as possible.
Right. That was an experience.
What's a multiplayer experience I can't recreate but remember fondly? My go-to is always Battle Swarm because that game got shut down. Tremulous is a good runner-up. I think it's playable but just doesn't have players. What is my opinion? I love that name. What is my opinion on Ubisoft using AI writers? I mean, there are exceptions, but a lot of...
Honestly, like, could it be any worse than what they put out recently? Like, I know this video came out a while ago, but using AI... I'm sure some people will say like AI for everything is bad and AI bad just without even giving any context or anything, but I'm more on a nuanced thing. But I feel like it actually might have, given the games that came out recently, 2024, 2025, would AI make the games better? Like, I mean, not AI, but like AI writing. You could argue yes. Like, honestly, you could, with what came out, you could argue that it could have made it better.
Of stuff from there has already felt like it was written by robots. From what I understand, for now they're using it for random background chatter, supposedly to help the writers focus on the core stuff. But it's Ubisoft. Someone up there is hoping to replace a lot more people with machines. Can I give a hint about the size 2 fish? Has no one actually caught it yet? I figured more people would have it by now. Do I plan way ahead for the adventure game videos? Some stuff is on rotation, so I don't know which comes first, but essentially, yeah. It was fun seeing a lot of people notice Glug for the first time in the Druids video. Any chance for Darkest of Days? There are 3 or 4 time travel games I'd like to cover in a block, like one a week. So that'll take some more outlining, but Darkest of Days is one of them. That's another of those cool ideas, not great execution games.
This is fun.
I don't get.
I feel like a lot of games, especially in a lot of PC games, put it specifically in the I guess Windows 95, 98, 2000 era, there's a lot of games with great ideas but terrible execution. Just because like there was no set standard. Like even the boxes had no set standard back then, but regardless of that, just you could make any game on the PC, and just if it gets popular enough through, I guess, shareware, they could just order it. And yeah, like granted there was some more popular than others, but there was a lot of games back in the day that had just really neat ideas. It's just the way that they made it was not great. So yeah, I guess it was. I mean, it's more so back then than now. But
Get it?
wait, what?
Great execution games.
This is fun.
I don't get it.
All right. That was Genesis Rising, the Universal Crusade few. That was an experience. That was an experience, and yeah. If anyone still has more recommendations, I do write them down, and I will get to them eventually. It's just I do either like a Mandalore video or a Warlock Racy video once a week, so it's gonna take time. So. I mean, unless if I get to 500, then I might. If I get to 500, I'll probably record one more video a week. If I get to 1,000 by the end of the year, I'll probably do a giveaway. Hopefully, and then obviously I would put out videos for every day. So, yeah, that's the plan so far. But we'll see if it happens. We'll see. It's like I don't want to say every time in the intro, please like and sub. It's just I don't know, but if it helps, then I'll say it. But that was an experience. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, thank you for watching and have a nice day.